Okay, so this lesson starts with some vocabulary review. So we'll go through that first. So demos is the people. Ek or ex, if it's before a vowel, means out of, and it takes genitive case. Pempo means I send, and it has the weak aorist epempsa. Ego means I. Dioti means because. Kalepos is an adjective meaning difficult or dangerous. And then trace is the number 3. It's trace in the masculine and feminine, tria in the neuter. Prostreco, strong aorist pros edramon, is a compound verb made up of pros plus treco, and that means I run towards. We could just say I run to. Then deipnon is dinner or a meal. Nosos is a disease, not to be confused with Nessos, which is an island. Then oligos here, oligos means usually something like small, or if it's plural, it would be few, but in the singular, just small. Ecclesia is an assembly, and later comes to refer to the church as well. So ecclesiastical means to do with the church in English. A soma, somatos, third declension noun meaning a body. Then number 14, pous podos is a foot. Like a podometer measures how many steps you've done in a day. A podiatrist is a foot doctor, and so on. Te and kai mean both, and then and anemos is a wind. Hex is the number 6. Notice that's hex with a rough breathing. X with a smooth breathing is number 2. A stratopedon is an army camp. So we can just put camp here. Fulasso means I guard, and it has the weak aorist effulaxa. Pemptos means fifth. Akuo is I hear or listen, and it has the weak aorist erkusa. Pao means I stop, weak aorist epausa. Moros means stupid or foolish. An epistole is a letter, first declension. And tetartos means fourth. So that's an adjective meaning fourth. Now, in the table at the bottom of page 1, you're asked for the imperfect active. Okay, so this is a past tense, so each form has the augment, e. So each form has that at the beginning. Then you have the stem, pow. So again, that's going to be there for all 6. And then you need to add the imperfect endings, which are on, s, and then omen, ete, on. And notice for the third person singular, the n might be there or it might not. If the next word begins with a vowel, or it's the end of the sentence, then the n will be there. If the next word begins with a consonant, then it won't. So that's called the movable nu. And remember that the augment and the endings are the same here as they are for the strong aorist. What changes for the strong aorist is the stem. So for example, elambanon, I was taking, but elabon, I took. So the imperfect endings and the strong aorist endings are the same. It's the bit in the middle, the stem, that changes. Okay, now today we're going to learn about the imperfect passive, okay? So this is like the imperfect, I was stopping, but it's passive, so it's I was being stopped. And because it's in the past, you have the augment at the beginning, the and the endings are similar to the present passive endings. So instead of omai, you have omen. Instead of you have u. Instead of etai, you have eto, right? And then the we bit, the first person plural, is the same, ometha. The you plural is also the same, es there. And then the they part, the third person plural, is almost the same. Instead of ontai, you have onto. So omen u eto, omitha este onto. And you can see the English meanings here in the right-hand column. So, using those endings, we can do a bit of practice forming the imperfect passive. So, you were being sent. Okay, the verb to send is pempo. Right? So there is our stem, pemp. Right? Just take the verb without the O at the end. So, because it's past, it's in the past, we need to add the augment at the beginning. So, pemp. Right? And then it's you plural. So we need the you plural ending, which is here, it's esther. So epempester, you plural were being sent. Okay, I was being harmed. So to harm is blapto. So you take blapto, but without the O on the end. So that's our stem, blapt. You put an augment at the beginning. And then you add the first person singular ending, which is omen. So you get blaptomen. Then in number 3, we were being persuaded. So to persuade is peitho. So there's our stem, peith. Add the augment on the beginning. And then at the end, we need the first person plural ending, which is ometha. So epeithometha. We were being persuaded. In number 4, he was being carried. Okay, the verb to carry is phero. So the stem is fer. And we need to add the augment at the beginning, and then we need the third person singular ending, which is eto, so efereto. And then number 5, they were being led. Now to lead is of course ago, okay, so the stem is ag. Now we want to add the augment, which should give us ag, but in Greek that ea combination becomes just a long E. So you get egg as the stem. And then we want the third person plural, so we get egonto. Like that. And now we'll have a go at some sentences. So hoi polemioi are the enemy. The verb is ediokonto. So that's imperfect passive. So that means were being chased or pursued. And then hupo plus genitive means by, we're being chased by ton sumako. That's the genitive plural from sumakos, which is an ally. So we're being chased by the allies. Number 2, the subject is her pouler, which is the gate. And then imperfect passive, effulasseto. And that means was being guarded. Okay. And then hupo plus genitive means by, and then you have tone pidon, which is the children. We don't know if it's masculine or feminine, could be boys, could be girls, or could just be children. Then number 3, ekenoi hoi necroi. Okay, a necros is a corpse or a dead body, and ekenos means that. So ekenoi hoi necroi are those corpses or those dead bodies. Because remember, ekenos goes before or after the article plus the noun, not sandwiched in between. So those corpses, and then the imperfect passive is ethaptonto, were being buried, and then hupo plus genitive means by, so by the xenoi, the strangers, foreigners, guests, whatever it is. Then, in number 4, hoi stratiotai, that is the soldiers. And then ebalonto, now literally that means were being thrown, although I've put in a footnote here which says that ballo in this case should be translated pelt or hit rather than throw. So the soldiers were being pelted or were being hit, tois ton giganton hoplois. Now this is a genitive sandwich, so we need to take tois and hoplois together, which is dative plural, with dative of instrument, with the weapons. And then ton giganton is genitive, plural. And so that means of the giants, ton giganton. Then we have in number 5, to hieron, that is the temple. And then the passive verb is thaumasdetai, but notice there's no augment there, right? If this was imperfect passive, it would be ethaumasdeto, but this is thaumasdetai, so that's present passive. So the temple is being admired or wondered at, hupo plus genitive, by the strategos, the general. Okay, number 6, the passive verb is here, and you can see from the augment it's in the past. So we, ometha, we were being carried. Hupo plus genitive, meaning by, touton ton dulon. Touton is the genitive plural of hutos, so it means these slaves. And again, just like ekenos before, hutos is not sandwiched. It comes before ton dulon. Okay, in number 7, ara makes it a question. Now, eblaptu is second person singular, imperfect passive. So, were you, singular, being harmed? And then to dendro is dative of instrument, by the tree. And then o angela is vocative singular, o messenger. And then notice this symbol here looks like an English semicolon, but it's actually a Greek question mark in this case. Then in number 8, herboe means the shout. And then you have kueto. This is the imperfect passive from akuo. So was being heard. Hupo plus genitive, hupotes kores, by the girl. Then number 9, hoi logoi, the words. Manthanonto, imperfect passive, were being learned. Hupo means by, plus genitive. And pantone is the genitive plural of pass, which means all. So by all ton paidon, by all the children. Or possibly all the boys or all the girls. We don't know. Then in number 10, hodemos, that is the people. Epeitheto, that means that's imperfect passive, were being persuaded. Notice that it's third person singular because the noun for the people is also singular. So the people were being persuaded. Or you could even say in English the people was being... No, I think it's better to say the people were being persuaded. And then here we have another genitive sandwich. By tois logois, dative plural, by the words. And then here is our genitive, to angelu. That means of the messenger. Okay, and then on the next page, we have, just put more space there, we have, there we go, we have some English to Greek sentences. So let's try this first one, the letter. So a letter is an epistolaire. And then we want to say was being carried. Okay, to carry is fero. So the stem is fer. We want the imperfect passive, so we put the augment there. And then we want the third person singular, so eto. And then by the slave, so by a person is hupo plus genitive, so hupo. And the slave is hodulos, but we want the genitive, so tu dulu. Okay, then our plans. Okay, so the plans, well, a plan is herbuler, right? Buler is a plan. So we want the plural of that, hai bulai. But it's our plans. So we need the word for our, which is hermeteros, and we need it to agree, so hai hermeterai bulai. Were being stolen. Okay, to steal is klepto. So the stem is klept. And then we need to add the augment at the beginning. And then it's third person plural. So onto. ekleptonto. And then by a person is hupo plus genitive. So now we need to say the enemy in the genitive, which is ton polemion. Right? The enemy is hoi polemioi, genitive ton polemion. Okay, number 3, we are being chased. Okay, to chase is dioko. The stem is dioke. Now here we don't need to add the augment to the beginning because we are being chased is present passive, not imperfect passive. So we want the first person plural present passive ending, which is ometha. So diokometha, by a person is hupo plus genitive. Then a giant is ho gigas, but we want the genitive following hupo, so tu gigantos. Then number 4, you plural were being persuaded. Okay, to persuade is patho, so the stem is path. It's imperfect passive, so we need to put the augment on the front. Then we need the second person plural ending, which is esther. So epeithester. And then we need by the words. Now here we don't use hupo plus genitive because words are not people. Words are things. And when you're talking about a thing, you need to use the dative of instrument. So you need to basically put the words in the dative. So the words, a word is hologos, and in the dative plural that's tois logois. Now notice I've put some space in there because we're going to do a genitive sandwich. We're going to put of the stranger in here. Now, a stranger is ho xenos, but we need the genitive here, so tu xenu, like that. And then the last one there, the harbour, ho limen, was being guarded. Okay, so the verb to guard is fulasso, but we want the imperfect, so add the augment there. And we want the passive, so we need the third person singular imperfect passive ending, which is eto. And then we want to say by the fleet. Now again, a fleet is not a person, it's a thing. So we don't use hupo plus genitive, we use dative of instrument. So we put the fleet in the dative, right? Now a fleet is to nautikon. So in the dative, it is to nautiko, like that. So that's the end of the English to Greek sentences, and then we just have a look at the vocabulary at the end here. So patho, I persuade. Ace pipto is this is a compound verb made up of ace plus pipto, so it's I fall into something. A poietes is a poet. A logos is a word. Poter is a question word, as you can see from this question mark here, which is, and it means when. A boer is a shout, first declension noun. En means in, and it takes dative. A stratos is a second declension masculine noun meaning an army. Meta. Meta is a tricky one. It can mean after or it can mean with, one or the other. It depends on the case, with plus genitive, after plus accusative. A limen, limenos is a harbour. A pour is a fire. And you can see it's a third declension noun because it has a genitive ending in os, and it's neuter because the article is to. Now duo is the number 2. De means and or but. Eleutheros is an adjective meaning free. Thaumasdo means I admire or wonder at or am amazed at. Zeus is the god Zeus. Notice that he has a very strange genitive case, dios. So of Zeus is dios. Pou is another question word which means where. An anthropos is a man or human being. Hespera is the evening, first declension feminine. An echthros is an enemy, a sort of personal enemy, second declension masculine. A phonaire is a voice, first declension feminine. A ploion is a neuter noun, meaning a boat, second declension neuter. Lithos, second declension masculine, is a stone, like monolith in English. And agora, first declension feminine, is a marketplace. And kindunos, second declension masculine, is danger. Okay, and that brings us to the end of the booklet.